Hi everyone! Today we are going to make Gougères. They are little French cheese puffs made with choux pastry, and I'm super excited about them because one, they come from Burgundy, where I grew up. They were served while tasting wine, but also serve as appetizer in special occasion. And my mom gave me a recipe a long time ago, and I've been trying to veganize it for a while. And finally, these holidays, I was able to get an handle on it. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Choux pastry are made of flour, milk, water, butter, and egg. And because they are cheese puffs, we are adding cheese to it. So I'm doing that with the vegan version. Soy milk, herb balance butter, BioLife cheese, and just egg. And for the flour, I'm actually using bread flour. I have prepared everything. So let's start with the pâte à choux, or the choux pastry. So I'm using a mix of water and milk, 1/4 cup of each, in a big saucepan. With the butter. And I'm going to bring that to a little simmer. Okay, it's starting to simmer. The butter is melted. I'm going to throw all at once the 1/2 cup bread flour. And then I'm lowering the temperature. So this phase is very interesting because this is the choux pastry is one of the only pastry that you cook twice. We cook it now on the stove, and we are going to cook it later in the oven. So here what I'm trying to do is get rid of all the flour spots. And you see the dough is cooking, and when you cook the flour, it has the property of kind of gelatinizing the starch that is in the flour, and that's going to be key to keep the steam that's going to raise in the little puff inside the little puff and make them like light and airy. So the dough is drying. Don't have any spot of flour anymore. And you can see it detach pretty well from the pot. So this is done. I'm going to turn it off. And now I want that dough to cool kind of room temperature. So I'm putting it in another recipient, another bowl. And I'm going to flatten it so it cools faster. And actually, if you're in a hurry, you could put that in your freezer for like 5 minutes so it cools even faster. While the dough is cooling in the freezer, I'm going to prepare the egg mixture. So I'm using just egg, which is an amazing egg replacement. It's made with mung beans. I need 1/2 cup of it. I'm adding 1/4 cup of milk and about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm whisking that together and setting that aside. That's going, and this is the reason, by the way, why I'm cooling the dough, is because I'm going to incorporate the egg, and I do not want the egg to cook then. I want the egg to cook in the oven, because that's what's going to participate to making the little puffs puffy. Okay, the other thing I want to prepare is the cheese. So this is the shreds. They are a little bit long, so I'm going to chop them. And the main reason is I wanted to be able to pipe them easily when I make the little puffs. So let's chop them. So this is my dough. It's much cooler. So now it's time to incorporate the eggs. So what you want to do is do it slowly. You're not going to put everything together in one go, so a little bit at a time. Okay, so my dough is now, my eggs are incorporated. I'm going to add the cheese. So now my choux pastry with cheese is ready. And I prepared a little baking sheet with some parchment paper on it. And the goal is going to make those little choux. I'm using like a little piping tool. You could use a bag. It's probably a little bit easier to use in a bag to put that. You will notice that Sky is just in the kitchen because she knows that there are things falling on the floor. So she's ready to catch them. Okay, first batch. Okay, you make little puffs, little mounds, about 2 inches wide and maybe 1 inch high. And you make sure to separate them because they're going to puff a little bit. And now I'm going to put that in the oven. Now I close it and I do not open it until it's done. And that's another key part of making those choux is what's happening is the steam is going to form in those choux. And if I open the oven, it's going to lower the temperature and the puffs are just going to flatten. So I'm going to turn on the oven light so I see what's happening without opening it. And I'm going to check in about 30 minutes. I expect them to be ready between 30 and 35 minutes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. So let's have a look at our little puffs. Without opening the oven, of course. They look nice. They are starting to become golden brown. I'm maybe going to wait for like 2 more minutes. I think our little puffs are ready. Come and have a look. So switching off the oven and now opening. Look how pretty they are, and they are like, they are hot, but they are, crispy on the outside. And we are going to look inside. So you want them to cool a little bit down, but not too much because they are really best when served warm. And as I said at the beginning, they are excellent little appetizers. You could bring that to any party. You will have a great success. Look at those little puffs. I mean, it's a bit hot right now. So I think I'm not going to be able to wait. All right, you ready? It's hot. And look inside, how light and airy they are. That's exactly what you want.